All right, all right. My apologies. I was waiting for our single player, and they just did not show up. So I'm kind of scrambling over here. We're at table one. It's Whitebeard versus Rebecca, and I've been trying to see what this matchup kind of looks like. It looks like the Newgate decided to go second, and we have Rebecca here going first, getting some of our good 1-3-5s. We had the Rebecca into the Kairos into now the uh, our Sabo here. So we get to draw two and discard two, and also get our blockers here. And let me get these names for you guys as well. So we have Edward Lee, and they are on Newgate. And then on the bottom, we have Tyler Stevenson. On the Rebecca. All right. Again, my apologies on jumping on into this match. Again, I was waiting for a previous match, but one of the opponents did not show up, so I had to kind of scramble back down here. So that is the case. All right. All right. So we're at 7 Dawn now. We did have the Luffy attack into us. This is normally the turn when we can definitely see like the Luffy come down. Let's see. And this is kind of like a weird matchup because like these blockers do save you a lot. They save you a lot because you get some very tall swings as Rebecca at the same time. And we do have a blocker as well if we want to try to pressure with the Luffy. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it looks like we are playing our 7-cost Luffy here. And definitely, like, this is not locked to Rebecca in any way, but it is very strong. I'm very surprised, like, especially since we have the Sabo blocker up, that we didn't use the effect to swing. Oh, we don't have the Coliseum. That's why. Okay, yeah. Normally, we do have the Coliseum, the one-drop stage that does let you attack on the turn that you get to play only into other characters, but that is not on their board. All right. All right, all right. All right, take another hit. Going 7K with Newgate. Okay, getting the block there, and we will be able to counter out a little bit easier. And what are we doing with the rest of this Dawn? All right, another Luffy. Man, that Luffy is so good. That Luffy is so good. I've been seeing a lot of it being played more often, and it's mostly because like we're in a format where more people are kind of using. We're a bit of a slower format. There's decks that try to be more controlling, and this being just a 5/6 with rush already is very good. But then that Dawn ×2 effect is so effective at getting around these blockers. It makes such a difference. It looks like Tyler is at 9 Dawn now. Looking at top two with the Rebecca effect, since we have 6 or less in hand. It looks like we have either a Leo or a Truno, and both of these are removal cards. This Leo being able to remove this chopper is actually really big. If we have enough cards in our trash, we could go for game literally right now. So Leo, you can play for 1 to get rid of the Tony chopper, and then if we have our King Kong gun, we can get some real damage in. All right, so we're using the Leo effect as well. That does get the removal there. We do have to suspend or arrest our leader to get the effect off. And we don't know exactly how many cards in hand for Tyler, sorry, cards in trash for Tyler, because that does make a difference if we do get a double attack with our Luffy or not, with the King Kong gun, assuming that they have it. Oh, but they don't. All right, so we have 10. I'm going to guess this is going into Luffy. So 10 into 6. Yeah, my guess is they probably don't have 15 in there. Okay, Luffy is able to KO the Luffy. And then we have 4 Dawn left over. All right, and we are using our Luffy effect as well. So we do have the option to put 7 cards from our trash into the bottom of our deck, and we get to choose the order, which can, be important for that. But we're going to put it at the bottom of our deck, and then we get to get our Luffy back as active, and then we can attack with it again if we want to. Additionally, we will be able to, we can just not attack with it too if we want to try to keep it safe. Oh, and the 3,000 Worlds. What a good card. Traditionally, Rebecca plays mostly black cards because we don't have I don't think we have like any Dressrosa actual cards, but being able to use some of these blue tech cards, such as 3,000 Worlds, to get that removal is very strong for you. So being able to bomb deck the Luffy with this effect for only 4, so using a 4-cost card to get rid of a 5-cost card is pretty good. And this is starting to look pretty good for our Rebecca player. Newgate's got no cards established on board. They do still have a quite a hefty hand. There's 1 blocker on the board with the Sabo for the Rebecca player. And they're going to go down to 1 life, unless they play the 9-drop Newgate. We'll see what's in hand. Okay. Considering a 7k attack, which to me means that they probably do not have a 9-drop Newgate in hand. All right, going down to 2 life for Rebecca and 3 cards in hand. So yeah, Rebecca's doing quite good, but the lack of cards in hand is probably, like, look at the hand difference between our 2 players. Like, we have Rebecca with 3 and then Newgate with like 10. So, oh, okay. And then now we're going into the ace for 7. So 2 Dawn left active there. All right, we're going 7. And I'm going to assume that it doesn't truly matter, but I'm going to guess Sabo is one of the ones that we get the -3 to. Yeah, and ace is quite a good card too. Even though, like, it has it works, I think, better not as something that can potentially go for game, but generically more for just a card that's good at pressuring your opponent. So we get out of the attack as Rebecca with a 2k 1k, only 1 card left in hand, 2 Dawn left active for our Newgate, and we're gonna go from there. We have quite a full board for Rebecca. Again, only 2 cards in hand, so looks like we're probably searching for a King Kong gun if we don't have it already. And it does not look like we're there, so looks like we're getting, I guess, Orlumbus at this point. We can grab the stage since we haven't played it yet, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very good for us. And I wonder what the play is here. We don't even need the King Kong gun for the double attack anymore. We just want it for spending 3 Dawn to get a plus 6k amount of power. I think that's what's really important. But I'd be really tempted as Tyler just to put all my Dawn under. Okay, are we pressuring leader or are we pressuring the ace? Because this is an 8k attack with the Kairos. See, again, we do have like quite a phone book of cards in hand as Newgate per usual. All right, Sanji, and so that means we're going to leader and Marco, so that's getting to 9k to get out of the 8k Kairos swing. All right. And what are this is always like the thing with the Newgate, and it's just like, what do we do? What do we do here? Where like they have so many cards in hand. Like two Dawn can effectively be so much counter power to get out of attacks, but at the same time, I wouldn't be like incredibly afraid as Rebecca. I would be tempted to just put all my Dawn under. Oh, we're putting all the Dawn underneath the Rebecca itself. Oh man. I don't know. I think that we are okay to put all that Dawn underneath Luffy, and I would attack into Ace, and then I would probably use the -7. Oh, we're going down. Yeah, I don't agree with that play. I don't think we have to. Yeah, because again, like they're going to go down to one life anyway, or zero life next turn unless they play the 9-drop Newgate. I would have just put literally all the Dawn underneath our 7-drop Luffy, attack into the Ace, get the removal there, and with a blocker up and 2 cards left in life, I'd be chilling. I'd definitely be chilling. And these are just kind of the issues that we have with Newgate, and because Newgate like you have to play its game. You have to play Newgate's game of, getting all that advantage and going from there. And some people just have a hard time adapting to it. I see it often, like, and to the point where it drives me mad, where I'm like, no, like you are so close. You've played, the last 15 minutes flawlessly, and then on the 16th minute you stop playing the Newgate game, and something comes up, and Newgate gets that foothold, and it can easily spiral out of control. So, okay, we're attacking Newgate into life, going down to 1. We have another Ace. Okay, so we have 7 Dawn here. We have 1 blocker up, and we have to be able to get out of this attack. If we can't, we're doomed. We are still doomed. Yeah, and that's again like why. Oh, we're going down. Okay. We have Ace attacking again. Just 7k. I definitely want to keep the marker around, or the Sabo around if I can, because we want to be able to. Okay, yeah, 2 cards out of hand. Oh, sorry, 3 cards out of hand. Oh no, not those ones though. They're they're gonna play 1-drop blockers. You know it, or a 2-drop blocker. Okay. So maybe that's 2. Okay, aha. All right. I'm kind of right. We got there. So we got Chopper and Bart out. So that Leo would have been fantastic for getting that removal there. I would have definitely enjoyed getting the block on Sabo if I like that. That Leo is just really important. Unless we got another one. Unless we have another one to get rid of that Chopper for 1, it's just super bad news. But on the flip side, they have no Dawn open. They have no Dawn open. But man, if we could have played Leo, put 9 underneath our Luffy, we get 2 attacks at 16k. 1 gets blocked by the Bart, but I don't know if they get rid of the other one. Oh man, yeah. I think the play was definitely block with the Sabo. Know that they probably have a 1-drop blocker in hand, so Leo can use that to get rid of it, and you would have been in such a good spot right now. I don't think they can get out of 2 20k swings with only 1 blocker, no Dawn up. All right, 4 in hand. Man, I know a Rebecca player is probably like, man, I wish I had that Leo now. Like it was in hand just a minute ago, and it's so good in this situation. And now what do I do? Now what is my plan? I've got no cards left in life, only 4 in hand. We do have again our 7-drop Luffy ready to attack. Man, I see this often. I see this people looking at the cards in their hand and they're like, I wish these were better. They are so close. And that's like the worst thing about Newgate. They go down to 0 life so quickly, and you're like, okay, I just have to do just one more hit. I'm in there. I get there, and that it's impossible. It's impossible at times. All right. Well, okay. 8 at the leader with the Sabo. For the record, you're not lost yet. I think Tyler definitely still has a chance to win this one. All right, 2Ks out of hand. That's pretty good because they had to over counter for that. And how many cards are left in Edward's hand? I looked over at my screen and said Edward Newgate. I'm like, okay, sure, that's the leader. Did I put it in wrong? 5 in hand. Okay. If we have King Kong Gun, I'd be really tempted to put 3 underneath Luffy and then swing 2 10s. That means that they're guaranteed to get 2 cards out. That's 3 cards out of hand, which is half. So it's do I bet that half the cards in my opponent's hand are 2Ks, right? If they're not, putting the 3 underneath there and attacking twice, and then I can use King Kong Gun and Kairos to go for game. I think that's the line for it. No, not a 6K. Oh, man. I don't like this play either. It does get another 2K out. All right, so you put 3 underneath Luffy, and then we can have an 8K Rebecca swing. Unless we have 2 King Kong Guns. If we have 2, then we might be in business. Yeah, 5 in hand. And Newgate does run a lot of cards that can be uncountered in hand. So it's not, it could go either way. 100%. 100% can still go either way. All right, so I'm going to guess this is on Rebecca. So this is an 8K with Rebecca. Yeah, there's 2 blockers on the boards. Okay. Oh, and then there's the kick course. All right, that now the game is probably over. We can still attack twice with Luffy if we want, and if we're feeling it, if we have another King Kong Gun, Leo could get out of it. But with that, just the fact that the Bad Manners kick course exists. Okay, is this on Leo? This is on Leo. Okay, and this is 8K. Yeah, 8 and 10. Okay, yep. Hand was too good. You can do 2 7K swings with Luffy, but that is it. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, we could have attacked blockers with Luffy too, because Luffy does have that effect. And that would have made them a lot harder to get out of. But there it is. Yep, 17 on life. And there it is. Dang. All right, well, that was that match. I definitely think it could have gone the other way, 100%. 100%. I think like some people do get blinded with Luffy saying, "Oh, I can attack twice into my leader or my opponent's leader with it." If we use the Luffy to get rid of their blockers, and then we had 2 King Kong Guns, right? So what? 12 plus 5, 17. I don't think they would have been able to get out of it. We have for us table 46. We have Blue Croc versus OPO4 Queen, a matchup that I haven't seen a lot of. I've individually like these leaders. I think they're very cool. I think they're very unique for it, and that is what we've got. So let me get these names for you guys real quick as well. We have Nick Parker on the top Nick Parker on the bottom as our queen player, and then on the top we have Musket Khan. And they are on the starter deck Croc. Fun fact. So if you guys follow my streams and my socials and stuff, you know that I'm a believer in OPO4 Croc, and I promised I tried to find some, and in the forum, since it was user generated, most people just said Crocodile as their leader, which makes it, unless I manually look through all the lists and the deck lists and everything, it's very very tricky for us, to jump to knowing how many of those exist. So I'll have to manually go through that later, and we'll get that stats for the end of the event. But I have no idea if there's anyone playing Purple Yellow Croc. A good amount of people said specifically Starter Croc or Blue Croc, which definitely made it easy. But there's like a dozen lists that I'd have to see and find out. So, but if you guys are interested on how the Queen leader works, it is a pretty unique leader. It is our first blue and yellow leader. It has 4 life, like most multicolor leaders. It has a Dawn ×1 when attacking skill. If you have a total of 4 or less cards in your life area in hand, so that's combined. So if you have 2 cards in hand and 2 cards in life, that qualifies. Draw 1 card. And then if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, you can instead add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life instead of drawing the 1 card. So that just means that you get to have a way to put more cards into your life, which is generically a difficult mechanic to do, a very costly mechanic to do in this card game, or draw 1. It does come at the cost of having 4 less. It doesn't count cards in your battle area though, so that means that if you use cards from your hand to play into your battle area and then use the effect, you can get that card draw or the cycle or the cards in life. But it's a very interesting play style. Usually Queen likes to go plays a lot of tall characters, some very strong characters, and then from there it only has like a couple cards in life but plays a lot of blockers, and it usually can take a while to whittle it down. So we're gonna see what this matchup looks like. I do think that Queen can lose to some early aggression, and I'm not sure what this matchup looks like. I honestly haven't had a lot of chances. I do think there's a lot of chance for Queen to lose due to just the amount of value that Croc can get. But I think obviously as the later we get into the game, the stronger it is. Both decks play assumedly blue Red Rock, which has been the card to play in blue. It's probably like the card that makes the deck viable, which is fantastic. And it can work for both leaders, which is, we're going to probably have a lot of like back and forth. And the only difference between these 2 leaders when it comes to this card is that we do have the ability for Crocodile to play the Missile Sunday blocker, which would let you get it back and get more copies of Red Rock in comparison. But yeah, it looks like we are good to go though. Let me get their timer started. And we'll go from there. All right, so early turns, nothing really going on from either leader. 5 with for their Croc getting a 1k counter out of there, and then playing the Centumaro, the kind of like premier card that we get to play. It's not restricted to anything else besides a blue leader, but being able to use this card to get value and essentially draw cards from deck, it's very good. We only get very specific cards for it, but being able to spend 3 Dawn to play a 4/6 Pacifista from our deck is very good. Oh, and then we have the Pound on the other side. I have really enjoyed playing this card. I think this is a very strong card for yellow that people are maybe sleeping on a little bit, especially in Queen where you don't want to win immediately. You want the game to go longer. Being able to now get the removal for the Centumaro is huge. So Pound has an on KO, add up to 1 character from one of your opponent's characters cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life face up. So if they use the Centumaro, if they attack with leader, you can block with the Pound, and then we can get the Centumaro and put it to the bottom of their life. That's very, very big. All right, so there is the Centumaro effect. We got the Pacifista from deck. It is a 4/6 with no effect, but that is pretty generically good still in this game. I continue to say that cards without effect in One Piece, they hit very hard. They have such a potential. And yeah, I think this is really good. I misspelled the name. My apologies. My apologies. But yeah, Musket. There's that sneaky Q. All right. Yeah, recognizing that Centaur is going to get removed, so we attack with it anyways, and then we have a 7k attack with Crocodile. And I think maybe the sequencing could have been differently. I think it's kind of like a weird thing. So we attack with the Centaur. If they wanted to, they could decide not to attack afterwards, and if because now we would have definitely rather have used the pound to get out of the 7k attack than a 5k attack, but there it is. So we have, I believe, 6 Dawn available for our Queen player, for Nick. All right, looks like we're going 7 into leader. And then for 4, playing a Sanji blocker, perhaps? Yeah, playing a Sanji blocker. Yep. All right, and then we have the Soga King. All right, another secret rare from the last set that has gotten a little bit more play. Soga King is usually played at a couple copies in Crocodile. Sometimes it's played in Queen. Unfortunately, it's a 7-cost card, which means it's 1 cost under the 8-cost effect that you'd want from your Queen. But the tempo this card gets is fantastic. Being able to also cycle through cards in hand that you don't need, and get that tempo right back for you. So, all right, looks like we're attacking. I think that was a beige 2k to get out of the Pacifista, and then there's another 5k attack. It looks like there's about 6 or 5 cards in hand for Nick and 3 cards left in life. All right. So we have, I believe, 8 Dawn right now. So if we want, we could use a 8-drop Katakuri if we have it. Katakuri, I think Secret Rare is probably one of the premier 8-drops that Queen runs. Again, the flexibility of being able to have the removal, but also getting the cards back into our own life if we need to is great. And again, the Queen effect to heal a card is dependent on having an 8-cost out. But it looks like we're going a 6 into the Pacifista. All right, using a Pacifista to save a Pacifista, 7k to 6. And then we're playing our own Soga King. All right, I knew it. My sniper instincts right there. Using the same effect, and again, the cycle that you get from the draw 2, discard 2 is very valuable in Queen because you will have a lot of cards that are unusable in hand. At the same time, you do want to be able to find your larger cards. But the fact that it's a 7 cost is so sad. So close. All right, 9. Yeah, okay. All right. Chat's instincts are also on point. We have the 9-cost Mihawk coming out at 9 Dawn to get rid of the Soga King. Are we going to see? All right. My instincts are Queen's going to do the same thing. Let's see if that's true. All right. Going down to 2 life with that 6k attack. But yeah, Mihawk, definitely a card from set 1 that saw some play. Blue wasn't super relevant, I'd say, in the last couple sets. I think the Doflamingo Blue Leader was probably the best one that we saw play. And it did run a couple copies of this Mihawk. The removal is good, but the issue is that it cuts off at 7, and there definitely are some 8, 9s, and 10s you wish it could interact with. And not being able to do that is quite rough. All right. And looks like we use a 1k Perona to get out of that attack. All right, and it looks like we have an unfortunately chunky hand that will mean that we won't be able to, yeah, we definitely will not be able to get a heal this turn, even if we do establish an 8-cost or 9-cost. If we have our own Mihawk, we can use it to get rid of their Sogeking. Also, the fact that Mihawk itself is a 9 cost means that Katakuri would not be able to interact with it. You could use a red rock if you so desire to bottom deck the Mihawk and then maybe attack everything into the Sogeking. But we'll have to see. All right, and just decisions here. And I think that's usually like the issue with Queen, and sometimes like why it just kind of fizzles is that you do need to establish the tempo to feel like you're in a safe spot to get the continual +1, right? And that, ooh, so this is just a 7. 7 onto probably Sogeking, which they'll get a 2k out. Yep, a Alvita. And then maybe an 8-drop Katakuri. Yeah, 8-drop Katakuri to put the Sogeking at the bottom of their life. All right, now does Crocodile have our next big boss monster? There's a new Kaido that comes out of set 4. It's a 10 cost that puts an 8 cost and a 3 cost back into their owner's hands. Yeah, if Kaido comes out, I think Musket has got this. I think the tempo is just too fast. Putting that Katakuri back into hand would be devastating. And this is like, if we had our own 9-drop Mihawk, I think that would have been way better. But the fact that we don't have a lot of cycle makes quite a difference. All right, and so we're starting with an attack with no Dawn investment. And I think the reason we're doing this is because if we get to play a blocker out of our life, we'd want to bounce both back into, our hand. Okay, here. Oh, no. Okay, that's an 8. That's a 3. Do we see it? Do we see it? Oh, it'd be so unfortunate. It'd be so unfortunate for us if we see it. Okay, no, just a red rock. Okay, false alarm. False alarm. We're fine. We're okay. We play a red rock, and we pacifist and go from there. Which means, in my mind, they just simply did not have the Kaido. And ironically, the best way, if you want to make it so your opponent doesn't heal anything, is you just give them more cards in hand as Queen, right? They can't heal. And that is the issue, right? There's just too many cards in our hand as Queen that even if we were able to establish another 8-drop, it's going to be very, very tricky to be able to get cards out of hand to not. Like, and I'm not sure if that just means they have like a lot of unusable cards in hand or what the main issue is, but they just don't seem to be able to get their engine online. And yeah, 5 life to 1. And again, it can be very deceptive. And I'm guessing they have like a Yamato in hand that they desperately want to play. But that Kuma is quite an obnoxious card as well. If we do try to KO it, unfortunately, it does have an on KO for Nick where it will be able to play a pacifist if we happen to have it in hand. Now, we don't know if we have. We've seen a couple of them already hit the trash. So there's a good chance there's not a pacifist in hand. But just the fact that there could be makes you just question your plays, right? And here's like the other issue too, is that you have 1 life as Queen, you have a single blocker, and our starter deck Crocodile leader effect says you lose 4 Dawn, but we get to put a card back into our opponent's hand. Which means this blocker isn't really doing anything. All right, so Yamato is the play. We do get to heal a card, which is strong, and get the removal. Is there a pacifist in hand? Oh, there is. Why would there not be? Why would there not be a pacifist in hand? That's so strong. All right, and if you guys don't know what the new Yamato does, it's a 9 cost of card. You get to have an on play, and if you have 1 or less life, you get to heal 1 as well. But before you do that, and I truly wish you got the heal first, and then you could use the effect to try to KO something, because I feel like it'd just be that little bit stronger and it wouldn't be broken. But since there were 5 cards in our opponent's life and 1 in our life, that's 6. So you're able to get rid of a 6 cost or less, which was able to get rid of the 4-drop Kuma. Let's see. Also, we have confirmation that the European regional that is currently going on is obviously just ending, but Doflamingo was able to take that one, which is very interesting. Very interesting. I'm curious to see what the deck lists look like for that event, but that is really I would not I'm really surprised that Dofi won a regional. I'm not that wasn't immediately on my bingo list of possibilities. I know it can top, but I didn't think it was going to be good enough to win. And green purple, green purple. Yeah, I'll probably be covering that event as well as soon as I get the deck list. So be on the lookout for that one as well. Maybe I'll do like a double feature between these two events. I'll figure it out. Anyways, all right. So we're finally whittling down our hand. Oh, is it Red Rock? Yeah, okay. Red Rock does have a trigger end of life to bottom deck the Pacifista. And okay, we're going down to 0 in life. Now, the good thing about this is that at least we know that there's no like cards with rush, but this is going to be pretty tough. If they just establish a good body, like even just establishing a blocker here, yeah. Oh, Missile Sunday, such a good card. This is an absurd card for this card game. I might be complaining too much. Not even complaining. It's just an admiration about how good this card is right now. Not only is it a 3-cost blocker, but the fact that you are able to have a fantastic on KO effect. It's only for Baroque Works leaders, so it only works for this guy and the blue purple croc. But being able to say, oh, what am I missing? Am I missing a red rock that I played earlier? Easy. We get it back. All right, so okay, so that does get out of it. So Mihawk does get around the on KO. We're gonna heal 1, but this has to be beige. This simply has to be beige. If it's anything else, I think we just lose. Unless it's strictly beige in life. Because if it's a blocker that costs 4 or less, we can use it, go back into hand with our Crocodile Leader effect. And, yep. Saving the Mihawk. All right. Is it beige? Yeah, I get it. I get it. I was like, oh, that card is insane. And then it just went away. 9 other scenarios out of 10. That card's absurd. Promise. Promise. All right, 10 hold on. I think the play is you put about 4 or 5 underneath our leader, attack with it, and then we can use the -4 with those dons we used to attack. Is it beige? It is not. All right. Yep. Oh, going in. Don't even have blocker. Beige was there, but not in life. And we do have Musket taking it with starter deck Croc. There it is. And looking through life, we had another red rock in there, and then the other 2 cards we had. And I think like this matchup can be a little bit closer. I think the tempo from Musket was very good. I think the only thing that they missed was like 10-drop Kaido on curve would have, I think, won the game on the spot. It gave a little bit of leg room for Nick to maybe crawl back from it, and the 9-drop Yamato was strong, but that was it. I think also, like, if there wasn't, like, if Kuma didn't have a Pacifista to play out of hand, it would have been different, but there it is. All right. We're here at table number 7. We have the family battle. We've got Newgate versus Ace. We got Newgate versus Ace. Let me get these names for you guys real quick. But this is the match that we have for you guys. I also looked. We have, as far as I know, 1 person on Yamato. I'm not trying to call them out, but I think they're 0-2 right now, which is unfortunate. Especially as someone who is a big fan of Yamato. I understand, like, why would you play a yellow deck that can't play 10-drop Big Mom right now, though, right? I understand it. But we have Newgate again versus Ace. As far as I know, this is our only undefeated Ace into 2 rounds, going into round 3. So we'll have to see what that looks like. Obviously, when we saw the restriction list hit us a couple months ago, the target was definitely wanted to be Newgate, Zoro, and Law, but I think a lot of people would agree that Ace was probably the card that got hit the most. And I will say that in a meta where I think Law is doing not only very well, but I think is very present, Ace is a really good counter to that deck and that playstyle. And it's definitely what we'd want to see. But that is not a Trafalgar Law. That is not a four life 5K leader. That is a 6 life 6K leader, and that's going to make a huge difference. Let's see. So looks like we're putting down cards in our life. Again, 6 life to 5, and we'll see who goes first. All right, looks like Newgate is going first. I don't know if, there are a lot of odd numbered cards that you would want to be playing on curve for either deck. So it does, Newgate is a little bit rough in the fact that you do lose out on essentially 1 card in life, but looks like we're using the buggy, looking at the top 5 in our deck for a red event card. It's teched in Zoro, and it misses sometimes. It will not miss for this deck, though. We find the Flame Emperor. All right, let me get that. There it is. Oh. So pretty much the card to play in the debut card for Ace. Being able to give yourself, the removal from this card is very strong. The amount of pressure it can pressure. Unfortunately, though, double attack does not do as much if your opponent consistently has 1 or less life, which Newgate is very good at doing. So we attack 7k into Ace with our leader. We're going down to 4 life as Ace, and it looks like we were passing it back there. So, Newgate does not like being on odd, at least on the early turns, because you maybe find some 1-drop searchers, but nothing else. And it looks like there's nothing else from Brian either. We're just going straight into a 6k attack into their leader, and then another 6k attack with Ace as well. All right, and going down to 2 life, taking these cards in life very quickly. And unsure if that's just recognizing that, I don't want to have to play around a double attack, or I'm not finding the cards I need anyways, so the additional card draw is probably worth it. We're starting immediately with a 6k attack into Ace. 2k Jozu out. And that is the regular art Jozu, but we do get a couple new Jozu alt arts in the next little bit, and there is the Marco. Marco on curve, very strong. And probably one of the best things about going first as Newgate is, especially since there's a buggy on that board, that Marco gets a lot of value. And I it's probably some, understanding from Brian that, this buggy is probably going to not be long for this world if I don't attack with it. I'd rather get the value from it while I can. And that is what happened with it. All right, 6 Dawn. Looks like another buggy. I'm trying again, looking at top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 exactly. All right, considering what we want to add. Again, Newgate's only at 1 life, so we can actually spend a turn to set up. Oh, is that a round table? Interesting. Let's see, round table. This card is weird. This card is very weird. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't think it's a card you run at more than 1. But being able to give something minus 10k means that you still have to usually invest another card in tandem with it, but the removal from this card can be great. It can remove pretty much anything on the board if you use the minus 10 and then either attack into it. So your 10, a Charlotte Linlin 10 drop, it's a 12k, but if you use the round table, it becomes a 2k. And if you can attack into a 2K is usually pretty easy to remove. Or if you play like another Marco, you can tandem, you can get rid of most cards in the game. Actually, I think it's every card in the game because it's 13K or less, it would get rid of. So it is 2 cards you have to use, but the removal aspect is really good. And in a leader like Ace, where events aren't as, you don't mind having events in hand, it's very strong. All right, so going down to 3 cards in life. I don't think we've really talked about it either, so let's do that real quick too. The Ace leader is pretty unique. The effect that it lets you have lets you use cards in hand that are events as counters, not only on the offense, but uniquely on, or not only on defense, but uniquely on offense as well. There's not a lot of ways you get to, in this card game, offensively use cards like that out of hand to add at power, and Ace is one of the few ways you can do that. All right, so 8 Dawn. And something I think that you guys might notice, and what I've noticed too, is that some to see like I'd say like a good Newgate player versus a bad one, is that you see them using the cards like their blockers late. Like you could always play like your chopper whenever you want. Especially like, even if it's an opening hand like turns 1 or 2, you could have used the Dawn to get it out there. But the fact that you want it to be an immediate blocker and make it so your opponent has to immediately spend that turn to get rid of it, instead of like that marker would have gone value and that kind of stuff. I think that's something that kind of differentiates a mediocre Newgate player to a strong one, is knowing not necessarily what the tempo, like the best tempo to play the blocker, but when is the best time for the disruption from the blocker. Yeah, and then looking at chat too, yeah, Ace definitely functions like a deck from a different Bandai card game at times. And there it is. So we use the Ace effect to give minus 3k to the Marco. Marco does get KO'd, but this is kind of a unique interaction that's pretty obnoxious. So we can discard a card to bring the Marco back. And since it got KO'd and is coming back, it no longer has the minus 3k. So we're using the on KO effect to bring it back by pitching the guard point. And now it's just a 6k because it's KO'd and came back. Roundtable leader. Oh man, I wish roundtable leader. That would be fantastic. But roundtable only works on characters. Man, if roundtable you could use on leader, that card would be banned today. That'd be wild. But it is a. I'll bring it back up too. Yeah, it's doesn't see a lot of play for a reason. But it's tempting, and it does let you do some good like removal and value trades, but man, I'd spend 4 to give even my opponent's leader minus 1k. Not even minus 10k, minus 1k. I know, what a wild red gets a balance card. They change after set 1 though. They changed their mind. All right, and we're gonna Red Hawk the buggy. All right, so you could, if you wanted to, if you're feeling it, you could discard your entire hand and try to get out of this attack. But I don't think I'm not feeling. They're not feeling it. That's a 6k there, and we'll go from there. Especially with that, I don't immediately remember how the timing works. Yeah, you have to discard when you attack with it, so you have to discard it first, and then they get the blocker step. So if you discard your entire hand, they block with the Tony Chopper. All right, we have 9 Dawn to work with. For 7, another ace. Another ace. And this is a little bad news for Brian here. So that's a 4K and a 3K. We could go for board if we so desire. Yeah, what's the best removal for ace? Another ace. Another ace. It's very strong. So there it is. Got rid of the ace there. We're attacking 6K into the Marco, assumedly, which we, again, can save if we want to. Only looks like 7 cards in hand for Newgate, so not a lot. That's a regular-sized hand compared to a Newgate-sized hand. All right. What are we thinking? So it kind of comes down to how do you want to get out of this too? So we were able to revive the Marco, but now this is kind of a weird spot where you can pitch 2 cards out, like force 2 more cards out of the hand of our ace player, and they probably don't have a lot to get out of. Marco is only your turn. Let me double check. Marco's on play is only your turn. And we use the Seaquake to save the Marco. All right, counter out, and then 7K, and then 2K out. And then second chopper. Yeah, I'm very surprised we didn't see Seaquake hit that 1 chopper last turn. I think that would have made a big difference. And it just means that we could have pressured at the leader instead of pressuring at the board. All right, we still do have 3 life, which is quite healthy. And we do have a lot of removals for these choppers. If we have Fire Fist in hand, that can get rid of both for a pretty good card economy. And Newgate I think only has about 6 cards in hand. And Whitebeard's at 0 cards in hand. I know there's a dice that says 1, but it's at 0 cards. Oh, is that it? Is that double Seaquake? Or is that Fire Fist? That's Fire Fist. Okay. They are at 0. Promise. Promise they're at 0. That's just a zone on the mat. I know it's confusing and I know the dice is there, but they are at 0 life. Assure you. It is confusing. 100%. All right, so 7 plus 5 is 12, and we discarding extra cards from hand to help get us there. So 12, 13, 14 to 6. All right, here we go. 14 to 6, I believe. All right, 9, 11, 13, 15. And that is it. We get out of it. And we're not out. We have to make sure all 4 of these go in there. We know there's probably a 2K in hand, but we'll have to see. There are a lot of chances for cards to be, there are some really impactful cards in life, and also Ace does have the benefit of having, like, even if you get event cards, you can still use them to counter it with as well. Yeah, there's Red Hawk, there's Fiery Doll, there's like even Flame Emperor to get rid of a Frankie or a Marco if they didn't start swinging with that too. Additionally, if it's a 2K and you don't swing 7K first, that can get out of it too. All right, this is, look, I know a lot of us meme on like, oh, Newgate, you just play the cards, but I do, like, you always have high stakes. It's always like this last turn or second last turn where You know, we counted exactly out, and now we have to figure it out. All right, and first thing, Brandon is being very smart, recognizing the potential to lose to like Flame Emperor gets rid of a what 7 or less or 8 or less of the life trigger. It's 6K or less. All right, so making both those guys 7Ks mean that's one less card you have to play around. Yeah, and maybe if you had like another blocker, you could maybe chance it. But there it is. All right, 2 in life. Looks like we're pressuring 8K. Do you have double 2? Double 2K, I think, helps win you the game, potentially. All right, they're thinking. All right, that's double 2K. That gets out of it. All right, 7 Dawn. There can be cards with Rush in hand that can help get out of this. But if we don't have that, I think that might be it. We can get the free removal of Marco. If we have another blocker in hand, we can get there and maybe survive another turn. Yeah, you have to have either a rush card or a blocker in hand. Having neither. Oh, we have 7 drop. We don't want to go for it. We can 100% go for it. All right. They timer started, but they're here. We got Zoro versus Kaido. The last match we saw as well, but I really wanted to see this Kaido action play. I don't think this game is going to go to time anyway, so we should be okay. But let me get these names for you guys. I know there's also a Nami who's undefeated. I was kind of trying to emergency switch to that, but webcam slipping. Uh oh. Uh oh. Uh oh. All right, we have Armando. Let me make sure. Bremasco, who's on Zoro. And then on the bottom, we have Alan, who is on the Kaido. And I'm pretty sure all you guys know how Kaido works, or how Zoro works by this point. But in case you guys forgot or didn't see the end of the last round, here is the Kaido deck leader. It's a starter deck leader. Moderately strong in the format that it came out in. Pretty relevant and did get a good amount of tops and even I think a win with the deck, but it does have the potential to do some direct damage to your opponent by doing the activate main, and generically it just was and maybe still is the best purple leader we have. The fact that it's also an Animal Kingdom's pirate is pretty important because it can play the stage Onigashima to get an additional Dawn every turn, and that ends up being pretty big. All right, Alan's looking at the top 5. They're not happy with it. They're going again. Armando thinking on their side. We'll see what their decision is. All right, they are not happy either, so we're going again for both players. And I would say in set 1, right? I probably haven't seen a lot of this matchup since set 1. I think Zoro could get there, and the biggest issue was the fact that Kaido did have a good amount of removal and could get to late game pretty good. But Zoro has changed a lot since set 1. It's got a lot more tools, it's a lot faster, and it's a lot more aggressive with how many 5k attacks it can permit on board. And the fact that it's not as affected by getting cards KO'd as it used to be, I'd say. 3, 4, and 5, and that is good. We're good to go. 3, 4, and 5. Let's see. I think you added an S to commentators, but that's fine. It's a commentator. That's fine. All right. Here we go. Starting off. Zora going first. Kaido, I think, generally would want to go first because you have, for 3 Dawn, we can play Onigashima. And also, we do have the new tech of Mist All Sunday for 5, which I've been enjoying that card in purple and the purple decks I've been playing. Looks top 5 with Buggy, though. And what do we see off of it? Looks like we get a Fire Fist, which will probably be a little bit less impactful in this matchup. Can be impactful, but less impactful. And it's better than drawing nothing. My guess is that that was the only card we could have grabbed. But Kaido definitely does, usually does not play cards that are in that range of 5 or less or 4 or less. We do sometimes play some blockers that this can get some removal from, but again, I'd say not as impactful as a card in this matchup. All right, and we're just going a quick 7 into their Kaido, going down to 4, no triggers in life. And for 1, we're playing a Gordon. Oh, okay. So Gordon's a pretty good card for helping get into those Fire Fist ranges. So that can be impactful, even though I literally just said it can't. It's usually not. But that's kind of like the power of red, of just like the potential to remove, not only like giving minus DP or minus power is impactful for just being able to attack into stuff, but being able to get cards into that range is pretty big. All right, 4 Dawn here. We're going a 5 into their leader. That's fine. Going down to 4 life is Zoro. And then probably an Onigashima if we have it. And if we don't, we're sad. Well, we're a little sad. We're playing Uta, which Uta is important. It can get some good trade value. It can get like a double block potential, which is quite nice. So Uta from the film deck, and obviously being played in Don Quixote do Flamingo pretty regularly, but it is a card for Kaido as well. Dawn -1, you're able to get to rest one of your opponent's characters cost of 5 or less, so we can get the rest on the Buggy or the Gordon. But it looks like we're just going to make this a 3K, and then do we have a 5-drop marker to get rid of this Uta? I think we will. And we sure do. All right, that is the removal there of the Uta from the Marco effect because it was a 2K due to the Gordon, and now we have a 5 onto the Kaido. All right, we 1K. I think that's a 4/6 vanilla. I actually don't know that card. Let me find it. Cost is 4. This is Sphinx. I'm putting it on so to help remember for like the next time that card pops up, which I'm sure is going to be soon. All right, and then we play the Queen blocker, probably generically one of, if not the best card in purple. It lets you cycle cards. It's a 6K blocker, which is really nice. And the fact that like the Dawn -1 is a little bit rough, but it's fine. The biggest issue is that like I think we did we not -1? We might not have -1, which is fine. Yeah, I don't think we did, which is okay because we might need that Dawn. All right, there's a hand. I also my webcam setup a little bit does cut off the webcam from Discord, so their hand stays in frame more than what it shows, but I apologize. It does look like that, so I apologize for that limitation for this one. So we play another Buggy. We find a guard point, which is really nice. All right, 2K to get out of the 6K swing. we've got so much Dawn to work with. 5 whole Dawn. We're going to have a 7k swing with this Marco. And that's what, like, I feel like Marco, honestly, it's good in Newgate, don't get me wrong, but Zoro makes it so much better. The fact that for, like, 2 Dawn investment, it's like a 7k so easily. It's an 8k right now, too. Like, that is obnoxiously large. That is very difficult to get out of. Oh. Got those webcam setups. All right, 3 Dawn available once again. All right, so we are playing a Magara. So that buggy is now a 3k plus 3, so 6, 7 with Zoro leader effect, and we're thinking about making an 8. Oh, and then we double it up with the Makino. So we're like 11k. Is that right? Are we 11k right now? All right, block whatever it was. We got out of it by blocking, but that is very good. And here's like the issue with Kaido though. Like we're at 9 Dawn, which again we want to be at 10 Dawn. If we were able to earlier find an Onigashima Island, we'd be in a good spot. But the fact that we don't have it now means, one, we're going to find it later when it's useless, like because we can't even counter with it. And like 10 Dawn here to be able to clear their board would have been fantastic. It would have been so good. And now we're in this weird spot. And what is our decision? So we attacked into the Makino, got rid of it. Not too big there. I mean, if we can maybe establish some blockers, or like we can like use a king. Okay. Ooh. Okay. This is 7 cost king. I haven't seen this guy in a minute. Also, shout out to king being like one of the hardest things to find in a searcher, as in like a decklist searcher, because if you search king, you're going to find all these kingdom cards, and I don't really know how like to find it otherwise. But we have our 7-drop. It gets rid of a 3 or less and or 2 or less. Only issue is that it's Dawn -2 to use this effect, which means we're not getting to 10 next turn either. But definitely helpful. And this card is what made matchup like into Law so good into Kaido at times, because or Kaido into Law very well, because you get to get that extra removal. Again, I haven't seen this guy in a minute, but I will agree, into these matchups, it can be very, very strong. And that's kind of like I think Kaido, of all the decks, or at least purple in general, purple has more cards and has a lot of cards for specific scenarios and actions, but they don't have cards that I'd say are generically good in every situation. And so because of that, when you build and when you go into a tournament with purple, you have to kind of decide what are the matchups that I want to have a better win rate and what's the cost for doing that. So like the 7-drop Kaido is really good against Zoro and Law, right? But against Whitebeard and Katakuri, it does almost nothing. You'd rather have the other king that pops a 4 or less. So you have to make these decisions on what cards you want to find and which ones you want to see, and it makes it very difficult. Because we do have, I'd say like half the format is our decks that, you know, play a lot of smaller bodies, but on the other hand, we have a lot of decks that just play tall bodies instead. And the Dawn -2 again is pretty impactful and expensive. All right, and looks like we use the Gum Gum Gatling to get 8k to get out of it. And we're still at 3 life. A piece. Again, I think Zoro is in the lead there. That's the 7-drop king, which is a little bit off screen. But that's fine. We got me. I'll let you know. It's a 7-drop 7k. We'll keep it on there on the screen for them. There it is. All right. What do we got? What are we feeling? What are we seeing? We see 7 cards in hand for Zoro, maybe 6. 3 cards in life apiece. And looks like 3 or 4 cards in hand for Alan. Again, we're going to be at 9 Dawn. Actually, I think we're going to be at 8 Dawn. I think we did a Dawn -1 previous turn as well. And like we don't even have anything we can attack into really kindly either. All right, so this is an 8K swing into the Marco. However, yeah, we're going to discard a guard point, which, you know, we've had a lot of buggies being played and find other event cards, so that Marco coming back is not too wild. And this is like the other thing too. Like even if we did have 10 drop and we also had 10 Dawn to play with, it would be so easy to revive these Marcos and like it not be as impactful as it could be. It's in a very tough position for Kaido. And I would say, and maybe my memory's wrong, and maybe I think Zoro had a moderately good matchup against the Kaido into set 1. I know that Kaido could definitely stomp Law with the amount of removal it had and the fact that Curly to Dawn didn't exist for set 1 either. But we always had the thing that Kaido could go off. All right, we're going 6 into Marco. All right, for 3, what are we feeling? Are we finally playing our island? No. Oh, the Yokozuna. Okay, I secretly love this card. This card is really fun. It works better in, I don't know, some kind of purple-yellow mix that gets your Dawn back on your opponent's turn, but it still does some work in this matchup too. So it is an animal. It is Water 7. And its ability is that on opponent's attack, it's not even on block. And it's not even once per turn. You can return one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less back to their hand. Again, it's not once per turn, and it's not on block. It's on opponent's attack. So that makes it pretty impactful. So what this can do is that if they attack with, you know, they put everything under Izo, you can just Dawn -1, bounce it back into their hand, and then they didn't get the attack off, right? And then you can do it again. All right, so we have a 5K attack with the Magra. And this Magra is pretty rough because we don't want to attack, you know, get this back into their hand either, because then they can just use it on the on-play effect to boost up the Izo, right? All right, so it looks like we're going to do that, and we're still going to use the -1 effect. Yeah. Again, I don't think we needed to, I don't know, maybe they're afraid of like a Marco. It's not an on block, it's on opponent's attack. Yeah, seeing they get to play the Izo again, right? And they get a 2K Jozu for their efforts. Yeah, if you balance the attacker, yes, it would stop the attack. So I don't know. I think Yokozuna could have been used better in that scenario. I think it was just like a bad blocker in that sense. I think it could have gone a little bit better. That's fine. And now we Dawn -1 for that, so we're going to 9 Dawn next turn. I don't know. All right, 2K, 2K. Get out of it. And again, like this is like the issue though with not finding our Onigashima Island is that we are constantly at 9 Dawn. We're never at 10. We're never at quite enough Dawn that we need. Yeah, and you could have bounced it back without blocking 100%. Because it says on opponent's attack and not on block like the Uta. So it's a different timing. It's also not once per turn, so you could just do it as much as you want to, like, rifle through cards in your life in your dawn. All right, and this is. I mean, it's been tough for like the last 3 turns, but it's getting no easier for Kaido here. Yeah, since it doesn't say once per turn, you can just pay the cost for it and keep doing it as many times as you want, as long as you can pay the cost. And the timing is when your opponent attacks, not when the card's blocking. It could have stopped all 1 or 2 cost attacks. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Looks like he's just are they just scooping it up? Yeah, they're just scooping it up. Not finding the way out. So we have Armando winning with Zoro there, and that is there. Let's see if we can jump to another match real quick. Give me a minute to try to find another one. All right, here we are. This is our Nami player. Nami did beat Newgate last round, so it is possible. It is possible. But let me get these names for you guys and our timer updated as well. Let me get these. So we have on the top, our Nami player is one William Dox Tatter, or again on Nami. And then on the bottom, we have Noel Garay, which looks very interesting in this font. A lot of those tails there. And they're playing Zoro. Those are our players right here. Look at it, like the G, the A, the R, and the A again, followed by the L. Look at all those tails on that font. That's really cool. It's very fancy. So there it is. There it is. But this is this matchup. We've obviously seen it many times. Oh, did we roll a 12 with Nami? That's crazy. That's wild. But yeah, it looks like we're jumping on into this match. And let's get on into it. So, not for nothing, I think Zoro is a very difficult matchup for Nami in a lot of ways, because there is a lot that we can get out of and kind of go from there. But we will see. We will see how it is. Because again, Nami doesn't necessarily fold to larger attacks. Nami folds to when decks go wider. And Zoro is probably one of, if not the best, maybe tied with Trafalgar Law as very, very good for going wide. Very, very good. It is very tough. It is winnable. And Nami is definitely a deck that you have to kind of know how to play against. And because you do have to play it differently, and what you prioritize is different for it. And so if your opponent hasn't had a lot of experience against the deck, or doesn't know like the best way to attack in and get those points and that damage in effectively, makes a difference. So but this is Nami. If you guys don't know, Nami is, again, one of the more unique leaders in the game, and unique in the way that it has its own alternative win condition, in the fact that when your deck is reduced to 0, you win the game instead of losing it according to the rules. So, and then Dawn ×1, when this leader attacks you and deals damage, you have your opponent deals damage to your opponent life, you trash 1 from your own deck. So this doesn't really come up. Sometimes it does if you've got nothing better to do. You have way better ways to trash cards from your own deck. But that is kind of the idea. So it is a self-mill deck, and that is what we got. All right, and looks like we're all set up to go. And let's see what we start with. Looks like Nami goes second. And I don't know, it looks like if we saw that William did win the dice roll, I believe they do want to go second. You get one more draw, so you get a little bit deeper, and like you generally want like the even numbers. Let's see. And Buggy finds guard point, which doesn't really do anything besides be another target for Fire Fist for a discard. Again, you play a little bit differently. You don't really care about defense that much. It does come up against some cards like Zeph, but again, not as impactful. But we're playing a 1-drop buggy to look at the top 5 for an impel down card. I have usually a good amount of targets in this deck. You can definitely miss, but we'll see. All right, and the other thing that's really important with this buggy search is that we get to decide the bottom cards of our deck, which does impact you if you try to if you're trying to go to 0. The order of every card in your deck that you know gives you that extra advice. So we get the Daz Bones, which is good for getting back a 1-cost option later from our trash, and we pass from there. All right, considering how they want to do. Again, you can put with 2 Dawn, you can force 2 5K swings, or 5K and a 6K swing, and with 2 Dawn, you can force 2 6K swings. And it's kind of a race of what you find more important. And I think if this is what it is, yeah, I think I agree with this. This might be our first to Dawn on stream. Correct me if wrong. Round 5. I think it's one of, if not the first to Dawn we found on stream. The Dawn, in my opinion, is one of the strongest cards in the game. It is very good. It doesn't look like it'd be very good. It's very deceiving, but being able to draw a card that's a 1-cost in red is incredibly good with the card pool they already have. And I was not complaining, but I was lamenting on how good that card is so much I did not see what they grabbed, so my bad. My bad. But we have Desert Spada on the other side. This does let you rearrange the top 3 of your deck, and this is deciding to put it at the bottom. Interesting. So not liking any of the 3 on the top and deciding to put it to the bottom instead. Very interesting. There it is. It was a whiff. Oh, okay. That card is fallible. All right. We use the Daz Bones that we knew we had to get the Desert Spada back into our hand, and then that's just passing it back. All right, 5 Dawn to work with. This can be a Marco turn if you so desire. It looks like Noel is really thinking. 5 Dawn. What do we got? What do we got coming? Again, we could be very aggressive. We have cards like Makino or Magra. But it looks like we're going to be using the Marco. Yeah, Daz Bone's probably the one you want out. Either they're about comparable. I think Daz Bones, you can consistently get cards from our trash, but Buggy lets you cycle through your deck more. So it's kind of what if they get bounced to hand, which can happen in this. But for 1, yeah, Spada to get out. And looking at top 3 once again, are these 3 any better? Do we want one of these cards to be drawn next turn? All right. And we're playing Buggy again. You'd hope that there's a guarantee hit in there. Oh, really? We spotted, though. We look at top 3, right? That's pretty bad. That's pretty rough. Bottom with Spada. Okay, so you should kind of. Okay, well, that is less good. We know like the bottom, like what? 4 plus 3 plus 3. We know the bottom 10 cards of our deck. But just the fact that we felt like the need to play Buggy means that our hand is probably just really defensive. And that's like one of the issues with Nami is that you do have a lot of cards for cycle and moving cards around, but you also have a lot of cards that are just purely only for defense and don't do anything to kind of advance your own board state. Double Buggy and then double Spada. So I guess it's one Buggy found something, so that's 4. The other one found something, so 9. And then bottom 15. You're correct. Correct. Yep. Because bottom 4, bottom 3, bottom 3, bottom 5. So we know like what half our deck should look like if we're paying attention. All right, and this is going to be a 7k attack with leader. At this point, I'd be really tempted to just take the damage, but it looks like a 2k and a Zeph 1k to get out of it. Let's see, Magra on the Buggy. So this is 3 plus 3 plus 1. So this is a 7k. Only 3 cards in hand for William. Probably taking this one. Looks like no trigger in life. The one good thing about Nami is that it does have a lot of cards in that life to help accelerate your card draw and trashing from your deck. But it does not seem like we have those either. All right, and this is 4 plus 6 plus 1. All right, we're getting out of it, and then we're drawing one with the Death Wink. Yeah. Death Wink, I think is generally a pretty good card for the deck. It is pretty costly at 3, but being able to draw 2 is good, and the effect in as a life trigger is pretty strong as well. Normally like it later in the game, but now you only have 3 cards as Nami. And that's we peel off though. We went from 3 cards to 4 cards. We wish we probably saw that earlier. Kaya for 1. Okay, that lets you draw 2, trash 2. 2 Impel Down All-Stars. Yuck. And now 4 Dawn, and I think 3 in hand. And we can do like a little bit of clearing. We're going to go 5 into Buggy. Yeah, Buggy goes away. And then looks like we're keeping 4 Dawn open and passing. Yeah, I would say Zoro's maybe had like a little bit of a slow start, but Nami's definitely had a slow start. If Nami wanted a chance at winning this, I think they needed to be a little bit... Their opening hand had to be a little bit better, their opening plays, and I just don't think this is it. All right. And so I believe we have 9 Dawn as Zoro. Yeah, I believe it's 9 Dawn to work with. 1 underneath leader at all times. 3 in hand for William as Nami. Let's see what this looks like. All right. Makino here to boost the Magra. So it's a 5. 6 with leader effect. 7 with the additional Dawn. 3 cards again for William. 4 cards in life going down to 3 cards in life. Any triggers in life? Thinking about it. So probably a card that returns a card to hand, which could be Kaya for additional. Ooh, okay. So it's going to be Rubber Band of Doom, which is a draw one, discard one. Oh, a Kaya into trash. Not what you want to see. There it is. So like that could have also gone you out of attack, but like you technically get more cards out of your deck if you trigger it from your life. But it looks like another attack going in. Going down to 2 life is Nami. And looks like we have about maybe 20 cards left in deck. That's my guess. I'm sure we're gonna find the hard answer in a second. All right, and looks like our answer is maybe 7 on Zoro. Yeah, why not? 8. So if they have a 4K, which Nami has a lot of, you can get out of this. All right, and thinking about it. My guess is that they might have Giant Gavel. Oh, they do not. Ooh, that's a really impactful hit. I would have sworn they would be able to get out of that. All right. Oh, okay. Deathwink, which you can use to turn Marco back into hand. I think that is worth it. Doesn't get more cards out of your deck, but it does help your survivability by quite a bit. That Marco generally is pretty difficult to get rid of. And you can clear this board, I think, this turn very easily as well. So if this is a scenario where if you can play Zeph right now, I think Zeph is incredibly powerful. Zeph to bounce back probably the Dodon and get the removal of stuff on board. All right, looks like Buggy is attacking into, I'm guessing, either Makino or Magra. Looks like 6 cards in hand for Zoro as well. Let's see. You don't, I think you just let these go, right? I don't think there's any world where you try to defend this Magra. As much as it's helpful to be around. Especially with how many attacks are on board and such. Yeah, interesting. I think that is the decision here. Which I would take as an automatic. Okay, you got the Magra. All right, 2K to save it. Wow. Wow. But why? 2K to save. Wow. All right, 5 into it. Okay, I don't know about those. And guess what? Kaya can attack into Makino. Yeah, Kaya into Makino. Yeah, 0 to 0. Yeah, I don't know about that. That seemed wild. Here we are. All right, and we have the Zeph. All right, so Zeph is really impactful. And those are a couple 2Ks you will probably wish you had in hand for defense next turn. Oh, this might be a turn for William here. Let me get that Zeph out. So Zeph technically is for the Nami deck, but it can be splashed in Crocodile. I do see it every once in a while. The tempo you get from him is very good. You don't have to mill the cards out of deck either, so it's mostly just the tempo of playing a 5/6 and then getting rid of a 3 or less back to hand. But if you do get there, we're thinking about Pilaf. Yeah, Pilaf draw 2. I would not be too worried about losing this next turn. But yeah, getting out of 4K of counter where we're now going to pressure with Zeph next turn, I don't think that's the play. Because now you're kind of worried. Now guard point can just get out of Zeph no matter what, right? And I think we know that there's still a guard point in hand. But also, like, even if you had this Otama, you'd be able to potentially Fire Fist away the board a little bit easier if you're worried about the Zeph. Yeah. All right, we get a Gordon. Okay. That can also help clear the Zeph as well. Yeah, because it's a 1 cost because it's the Dawn. All right, Gordon for 1. Give it to probably Zeph, so it's now a 3K. And then are we Fire Fisting away probably that and Kaya? Yeah, Fire Fist with the guard point. Okay. I mean, that was 8 Dawn that 6 Dawn that you could have used to be more aggressive to go for game. And now you don't have that. That's still super good tempo for Nami right now. Only 3 cards in hand. We're going 9 with leader. 2 Dawn open. We should be able to get out of this. 100%. All right. And there's the gavel, which will let you go 4K. You have to discard a card to get there. But you also get to get rid of 2 cards in your deck. And then we got a Brick Fist out of our hand. And there's the Mill 2, or Trash 2 from top of deck. And then a Usopp Rubber Band of Doom to get, a Pilaf off. But there it is. All right, 3 in hand for both players, passing it back to Nami. Let's see how it goes. All right, we have the 1-drop Daz Bones to get either back the Rubber Band or the Gavel. Gavel discards more, but you have to discard a card from your hand to use its effect. And when you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That is a couple more cards than I thought was in there. That's going to actually be very tough for William, I think. If there are like 10 or less cards in hand, I think that'd be good. But yeah, getting the Spada, assumingly for the search. I think at this point you have to go for the Rubber Band, right? Yeah, I thought it was like 10 too. They look like thin sleeves. And then passing, interesting. All right. With the assumption of 10 in deck, I thought it was pretty close. With 20-ish, this is still really uphill for Nami. All right. Zoro, 4 cards in hand. We know that one of them is Marco, which I'm a little bit surprised they didn't play last turn instead of like using the Fire Fist. Because I feel like Marco on board again is just powerful and could, present another swing the next turn. All right, 1 Dawn on Zoro at all times, per usual. Zoro actually has an effect that says at the start of your turn, add 1 Dawn to this card. It's wild. It's in really tiny text, but it's in there. right, and he's really thinking here. They're really, really thinking about what the play is. Okay, that's like, okay, so 4 with leader effect, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe this is 9 on leader. And this is the trap. This is the trap I feel like a lot of people fall into, of wanting to go taller instead of wider. And Zoro's really good at going wide. And I would have, like, when every attack forces a card out of hand and your opponent only has 4 in hand, that is what I'd like to see. All right, and then for 2, we get a draw with the Love Love Mellow. So we rearranged the deck, and then we drew the card we put on top. Yeah. It feels bad, but also, like, when your opponent leaves like 8 Dawn open, you know that they have the counters for it. I would have rathered you, instead of putting all that Dawn on Dawn, you instead just go leader swing, Dawn swing, make them both 5k, so they both have to be answered, and then play as many bodies as you can. And we're 6k. I mean, we could make it 6 plus 4. We could make it a 10k attack, but I would be very afraid that my opponent would be able to get out of this too. All right. I can't hear what they're saying, but I'd be curious what the conversation is, what the line of thought is, what they're thinking is the play here. Because we can play, like, if we play Rush Zoro right here is not terrible. Oh, Fiery Doll. Okay, so we're becoming a 10k. That is impactful. 2 cards left in hand. All right, and with all that done, so we think we're 12k. Can we even get out of this? I guess if we have like Giant Gavel into Deathwink, we can. But those are 2 specific cards. Yeah, going down to 1 in life. And ooh, Desert Spotter lets you draw 2, trash 1. All right. And now we're worried. We have to be able to get out of a 15k attack every turn for the rest of the game, right? That needs to happen. All right. I think you just attack Nami into Dawn, right? Unless you feel like you need to have the 1 Dawn for like the potential to mill 1, if that's important to you. All right. Looks like they're attacking. Oh, they attacking. Okay, into the Dawn. All right. Nami is on 0 life, correct. And I think we've seen 2 Deathwings at this point. All right, Kaya to draw 2, trash 2, and this is unfortunately a -1 in hand. So not great. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14 is still quite a lot. And unfortunately, like, not that it super matters, but most Nami decks do not play blockers. There is a blocker that exists. Shoutouts to Boodle. But most do not play Boodle. unfortunately. All right, trashing 2. Yeah, and Kaya for sure is like one of the cards that helps out this matchup. Or we got out another Kaya. Oh, that looks terrible for you. All right, do we have a Sanji's Pilaf for 3? But then do we have enough cards in hand to even defend out the Zoro attack next turn? All right, another Daz Bones. Probably adding Gavel. Yep, adding Gavel. And then passing after that. All right. It's looking if they didn't draw for turn or not. Yeah, I think the judge is looking for that. Gavel Deathwing is 15k, which means you have to just draw 1k out. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to fix the state. If they did not draw for turn, because it does make a huge difference, especially like how Nami functions and everything. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So they're figuring that out real quick. Oh, head judge Mr. Ferris in chat. All right. Yep. Starting turn. Spot away. Yeah, it does not look like they adjusted their deck, but they did not draw. All right. This is fixing their hand. I don't know if they're letting them pass. All right. All right. Yeah, obviously it would have made difference on Kaya trash choices and everything else, but 4 cards in hand versus 3 cards in hand is huge right here. And it also makes a difference if like we have another fiery doll or not, right? Yeah, Nami did not. So it was clipped. It was found out. We fixed it. Even though it should have been at the beginning of the turn, which would have made obviously a lot of difference than at the end of your turn for the draw. But that is it. The draw is mandatory though. It's not. It's a game mandatory effect. If it's something like Gavel where it says trash up to 2 cards and you use Gavel and then start countering with something else, that is a mistiming. You can't walk that one back. All right. And now definitely Noelle is like, okay, do we just put Tendon on? If we had another fiery doll in hand, that's really impactful too. Yeah, let's go for it. All right, 15. What do we got? We have 6 Dawn open on the other side. For 3, Deathwink. That's like the last card you counter with, right? Second Deathwink. Wait. We had Gavel. That's wild. Wouldn't it be better to Gavel than Deathwing? Could we get another draw? Right? That's way better. That's way better, right? Because we know Gavel's in hand. because we go out. I guess it makes it so we make sure that we had the one. I guess it just depends on what the other card in hand is, right? Other card was peel off. Yeah, that's probably fair. All right, we have like 7 cards left in hand. We have Gavel still, so that's a mill 2. Yeah, I guess if it wasn't double Deathwink in hand, if we had another 1K, and then we Deathwink at the end to draw it back up to 2, it would be fine. But that is, it looked like the hand was double Deathwink, Gavel, and peel off. But with double Deathwink, it's 12, so you're out. But Deathwink and Gavel would not have gone out of it. All right, and we're deciding. We're looking through trash, trying to figure out what cards are left in the deck. Technically, we should know because we've through our buggies and through our desert spottas, we've stacked the bottom cards of our deck. I know that was like 30 minutes ago, but that technically is no knowledge if you are able to keep track of it. 4 cards in hand. All right. And we're thinking 2 there, okay, for Brick Fist to put it back into our hand. 1 here to draw 2 trash 2. All right. Hand went to head immediately. Trashing 2. We have 3 cards left in hand. We have 4 Dawn to work with. I don't think we're getting out of it unless we have specifically Gavel and Deathwink and we draw a 1K, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like about 6 or 7 cards left in deck. Yeah, I think all 4 Deathwinks are out. At least 3, if not 4. Yeah, I think all the Deathwinks are gone. So we should be able to go 15 into the noggin. I think we should be able to get there. Oh, but we're patient hands. I think they're asking how many Deathwings. Okay, that looks like 4 Deathwings, huh? We can still get out of this. We just need to get 11K, which is not impossible if we also have like copies of, I think they asked. So we've seen 2 copies of Mellow. Love to Gavel to a 1K off the top of our deck gets us there. Yeah, I mean, you've made it to this point. You haven't prioritized board, so it's just 15K at board. Yeah, that is it. We can get to 6K, but we can't get out of it. Zoro takes it. All right, hello. We're back. We are back. We have table 3 for you guys. We have Warren on Newgate versus Jonathan with Rebecca. Our only Rebecca left, and only one of our 7 Newgates left of our 16 undefeateds. And one more time, going into this round, we have 7 Newgates, 2 Zoros, 2 Blue Crocodiles, 1 Katakuri, 1 Ace, 1 OPO4 Dofi, 1 Queen, and 1 Rebecca left. So that is what our 16 undefeated left in that, and that is what our potential winner for today is as well. So we'll see how this matchup goes. Again, I think there is a lot of potential for Rebecca, and we did see this matchup at the beginning of the day. Different players on both sides of the table, but I do think it's something that people have been telling me that Rebecca can win, and honestly, I've yet to see it. I have yet to see it happen. I believe in it. Don't get me wrong. I just have not seen it yet. What do you guys think in chat? Do you think this is like a 50-50 matchup? Who's got the edge in this matchup? Let me know. Let me know who you guys want. We'll even, you know what? I'm feeling a little saucy. We're gonna even do a prediction if you guys want. We can do a prediction in chat. Who you guys think is gonna win? Newgate or Rebecca? Put your money where your channel points are. 5 minutes. Go for there. Let me know what you guys think. Put some channel points on it. See who you guys think is going to win. And let's get into this round here. So, looks like Newgate's going first, which means they do get out of cards in their deck a little bit faster. We have Ezo top 5. Who we getting? Who are we getting? Thinking about it. It looks like we're getting an Atmos, so a 4/6 card without an effect. A little bit tricky to play when we're on the off curve, but it looks like it's probably going to be it. And going down to 5 life due to Newgate's effect. And again, we talked about Rebecca earlier today, but it is a new leader, and we can talk about it again real quick. It's unique in a lot of ways. One of the unique ways is it doesn't attack. It cannot attack based on its own effect. It does let you draw a card early, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. So we're using our 1 cost to look at the top 2 cards of our deck and add 1 to our hand. And then we're playing a 1-drop Rebecca afterwards to look at the top 3 and finding a Dressrosa from the top of there as well. And considering the choices there. Also, both players not too unknown to be having a high record going into round 6. We both see these regional finalist mats that they're both sporting here, so definitely not their first time at these top tables. All right, and going from there, seeing a 1,000 Worlds in the trash feels probably pretty good for Warren, since that is a good out to a lot of your cards. But again, this is 3 Dawn turn, and typically Newgate doesn't have a lot to go during that turn, but it looks like we're going 6K into leader. And go there. We'll do if okay. I'm the only one running all the bells and whistles, so if I forget, forgive me. But we'll do one for the rest of the tournament. All right? Chat, help remind me, but we'll do one. All right? We'll do it for you. And by we, I mean me, because it's just me. All right, looks like we're going down to 4 life apiece for back to Rebecca. 4 Dawn turn. We can attack into the Ezo with the Rebecca if we so desire, which probably will make sense. And then for 3, we're playing Kairos to instead use the effect to get rid of it. Kairos is quite a rough card to remove. It's probably one of the reasons to play Rebecca, is that this card is so gross to get rid of. It's such a good value in a lot of it, what it does. And also just the fact that it is a little bit worse in Newgate in the fact that that card, it's not as flexible in being able to attack leader. You have to invest a Dawn every turn, which Rebecca kind of cares about a little bit of its Dawn usage in the first place. But against most 5K leaders, it's very strong at what it does. Just being able to hit the face, and then just your opponent never wants to try to get rid of it in the conventional KOing way. Ends in 5 minutes. All right, yeah, we'll cut it off there. You're right. I put it for 5 minutes, but we're deep enough into the game. All right, so we had Rush Luffy hit the board. Quite an obnoxious card, but we do have a lot of ways to remove it in this deck, and Orlumbus is one of it. Orlumbus being able to reduce the cost by 4, which means that Luffy becomes a 1 cost, which means it's very easy to remove it from there. Orlumbus. There it is. And then we use the Leo effect to get rid of it. So good value there. We don't see the stadium yet. And we get the trash 2 due to Leo as well. I think we're doing a pretty good job at answering the board more times than not. We can attack with Kairos if we want, and I think that could be like a really good bait into like having our their new gate wanting to attack into our Kairos. If you want to make it a 6k attack, because it doesn't have any protection since our Rebecca is already rested. But we're looking at the top 2 cards of our deck. A Gum Gum King Kong gun are a 2k. And looks like we're getting the King Kong gun to hand. All right. All right. So we've got Newgate's turn. I believe they have 7 Dawn. I believe they have 7 Dawn now. Because last turn was turn 5. All right. We're attacking 7 into leader, Rebecca here. Which means we have 6 Dawn left over. All right. And we take it, going down to 3 life as Rebecca. And this, we'll see what gets developed, but it doesn't look like Warren's really finding the cards or really building the tempo that you'd normally get to see and want to see as Newgate. All right, we have an Ezo looking at top 5 once again. Let's see what we get. We already know we have an Atmos in hand, unless we countered with it, which I don't think we did. All right, we grab an Ace, which is not useful this turn, but can be useful next turn. At 9 Dawn, we can play it and have 2 Dawn still up. Four Dawn left, so we are playing 5 Dawn left, playing Marco, getting rid of the Leo. Not a huge loss. Leo kind of already got its value, but it does mean it's 1 less card that our Lumbus can use to get the minus cost for. Not that I think we'd want to remove the Marco by conventional means. If we had 1,000 worlds, it'd be very good for Marco, but at the same time, we'd probably want to keep our 1,000 worlds ready for potentially getting rid of blockers for OTK turn. And an OTK is a lot easier when your opponent's leader goes down to 0 life all by themselves, right? All right, we finally play our stadium. And this is kind of like the card that is supposed to kind of like even out the fact that the Rebecca can't attack. And it's a pretty unique card as well. So if you do have a Dressrosa type character, they can attack characters on the turn they are played. And I honestly, like, quick aside, I don't know how smart it was to say Dressrosa type leaders, because now they can't really present another Dressrosa leader without like being, okay, is Colosseum broken in the deck, right? But we were able to use that. We can now attack into other characters. And now we played an Ideo, which is a 2-drop blocker, and then a Sabo as well, which protects all of our cards from being KO'd until the end of your opponent's next turn. And being able to get the draw 2, trash 2 to get some additional card cycle as well. So that is usually pretty solid. They've got the alt art. I've got the regular art. I'm sorry. Apologies for not having the full art on our picture there, but there it is. All right, and getting a Kuzan, which, yeah, Kuzan I really do like in this deck, but I don't think in this matchup it makes a big difference. All right, and to our Whitebeard's 9 Dawn turn. We haven't seen a 9-drop Newgate hit the board today. I'm pretty sure we'll by the end of the stream, but not yet. I think 10-drop Kuzan is worth it if the meta is slower. If we see more stuff like Queen and like other Rebeccas being around. But in this current meta, with Newgate. Like it doesn't do a lot against Zoro, Law, and Whitebeard. It does like Law. At least it can get rid of a 5-drop Law on play, but I feel like it's too fast. But I do agree. Like if we're playing more control and value based, Kuzan gets so much value in Rebecca. It just means that if it stays on board, you get to remove one thing per turn every turn. All right, and I'm gonna guess it was Kairos and Sabo for the -3. Sabo did get played this last turn, so they can't be KO'd by effects. Not that I think that would happen anymore this turn, anyways, but that is something to have. All right, attacking with 6K and taking it, going down to 2. Attacking with 6K, blocking there, and then 7K, blocking and not saving. All right, for 1, playing an Ezo. Okay, that's not a blocker, though. That is not a blocker. Now, if you already had Luffy out, this would be a different story, but we don't have him quite yet. Oh, Crossfire. That card is very good in this matchup if they're trying to double attack with Luffy, or attack 2 different times. Crossfire has the effect of being able to give something -4K power for the turn. And if you try to swing twice with Luffy, that means it's, gets out of -8K power, right? Because it's 4K twice. But going down to 1 life is Newgate. 2 life as Rebecca. We can get some clever removal with Orlumbus on the ace if we so desire. I do think we need to probably establish a Luffy, though. We need to establish it this turn, defense up, and then go from there. And not having any of those blockers left, you'd feel a lot safer if you had 1 or 2 blockers left. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-ish. 17-ish cards in trash. Double attack does not matter as much in this matchup either, because you will be able to, like, Newgate's going to be at 0 life, or at max 1 life next turn, right? So double attack does not matter. Yeah, it looks like we're going to play the 7-drop and maybe try to get some removal with it. Because we can try to get rid of... Neither card feels great. I'm going to be honest. Because you can attack into ace, but it looks like we're using a Rebecca effect to get a Rebecca 1-drop. And Rebecca's also not known for having, like, defensive events either. I think the play is that we play the 2-drop blocker if we have it. Oh, it looks like we're attacking into ace instead. And that's fair. And I think a lot of people kind of blind themselves that Luffy has to be the card to win the game, but he does not have to be. And if you can bait them into attacking Luffy instead of your leader, it's very, very strong. So I'm guessing this is a 9K attacking into ace. Oh, we're letting it go. Wow. I would have defended it. But they did not agree. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards there. I believe we had about close to 15 left in trash still. Maybe not exactly, maybe like 12 or 13. Yeah, but if you defend it twice, that just means like they are going to have to attack with Luffy. Like it leaves their Luffy exposed. And if you have like another ace in hand, you can super pressure down that Luffy, right? I don't think there's. I think at the end of the day, I don't think there's 100%. way like best play here. I think it's deciding what you want to play around and play into for both players. All right, we have Marco coming down, 6 into life. An easy 2K with the Suru there. That almost guarantees that your opponent won't be able to win this next turn. As in Newgate's not going to be able to pressure for win right now. All right, 7. All right. Oh, the King Kong gun. So I don't think we've talked about this card as much as we should, but this as the trigger out of life is honestly pretty good too. It lets you draw 3 and discard 2. So another Kuzan and trash, not too surprising there, and a 7-drop Luffy. Okay. I'd be tempted to keep it in hand, to be honest, because unless we just have like 2 more in hand. Ooh, Crossfire here for Luffy. 3, 4, 5. To Marco to get rid of it. Okay. Yeah, Marco will be able to. So that's the Crossfire getting rid of that Luffy. We generally don't see this kind of removal for Newgate, so this is pretty big. And then leaving 2 Dawn open. All right. I mean, is this 3 King Kong guns on Kairos and Hope? It's 0 life to 1. And Jonathan, we're in the think tank now. What do we go for? What can we win? What can we do? And I don't know. It's every time. You always say like, oh, if Luffy has a clean shot at lead, he wins, right? And it's either Luffy gets removed or there's blockers in its way. There's never time for a clean shot. And this is also the issue too. Like if you would have kept the King Kong gun in hand instead of using the draw 3 discard 2, that's just more power for your guys. And it's tough. And without knowing their hands outright, it's hard to say what decisions are good or what I would do in the exact scenario. But if there was a chance that additional 3K, because it's you're spending 3 to give 6, makes a difference, then I'd be super tempted. All right. Oh, we're just going for it anyways. So this is 11K. This is 17. Okay, so we already had 2. So maybe that's the reason we did it. All right, so 12 plus 5 is 17. We've got 4 additional Dawn. And we're going 21. All right. So 21, you got to get to 22, and you're a 6K leader. And they're counting. And they're counting. 2 Dawn available. All right, and we still counted. All right. All right, he's thinking. They're saying something. Let's see some cards at the table. The way they're counting, though, to me means they have enough, right? All right. Still counting. This is the only attack for the turn, clearly. Or Lumbus won't be able to cut it. And honestly, at this point, you either get out or you don't. The cards you use don't really matter as long as you can do it. All right, so 10K with Rad Beam. 13. We got to get to 22. 15. 17. 19, 21, 22. And that is enough. And I think the Newgate gets it. And you do have to do 2 attacks. But I think we're going to get there. All right, 7 with Newgate. All right, we get out of it. Kairos was only at 21, so we needed to get to 22. Luffy got hit. Oh no, the webcam gave up as well. Yeah, but the Luffy got crossfired Marcoed, which is not a traditional play. So I would, as the Rebecca player, I would not be playing around that for sure. All right, that's 10, and then I think 6 books 6, 12K, 7, yeah, 9, and that is it. That is the game. Newgate taking it. All right, we are at table 3. We've got a familiar leader with a familiar, I guess, space around it. We have our player again. We have Warren again on Newgate versus our final Queen player. Let me make sure I get the name right. We have Holden Miller on Queen. Currently 6-0 with the deck, which I don't know if I can say that I've won 6 games of Queen in my life. So 6 games with Queen in a tournament setting is amazing. And we'll go from there. And we'll make the quick prediction. All right. Make it like 2 minutes. We have Queen versus Newgate. I'll make it 3 minutes. How about that? Oh, it's only 2. Yeah, we'll make it 2. No laws. And in this format, there are no draws. Yeah, no undefeated laws at all, and there's no draws. No laws, no draws. All right. And let me get the timer set up as well. All right, looks like we're getting set up. And there we go. So it has Newgate going first. It went down to 5 life. No 1 drop for the cycle there. And then probably turn 2 and pass for Queen. Unless you have a 1 drop Perona, which they do not. All right. All 8 onto Newgate and going from there. And real quick, if you guys don't know how the Queen leader works, I envy you a little bit because it can be a little bit obnoxious. Not going to lie. But it's a new leader from OPO4. Essentially, it has an effect that it lets you either draw a card or heal if you have 4 or less cards in hand and life combined. You do also have to have an 8 cost or more in hand. So if you have an 8-drop Katakuri, 2 cards in life and 2 cards in your hand, you can attach a Dawn to your leader, attack with it, and you get to either draw a card or the better option more times than not, you get to heal a card. All right, and looking at the top 5 with the Don Quixote Don Flamingo. Yeah, sorry, I might have said it. It's in hand or life. I might have said on board. Yeah, board does not matter, which is good because you normally, to reduce cards in hand, you play cards out of your hand onto the board. All right, we rearrange the top 5. They attack 6K. We get a 2K Sasaki out of our hand. And now we're thinking. We're in that think pose. 5 Dawn available to Warren. What do they do with it? Oh, 8 cost on board. My apologies. We're entering hour 6 of me technically talking to myself. We're going to get a little loopy. So, all right, 2 1Ks out of hand. Both of them are trigger blockers from our life that we did not have in life. And we're going up to 6 Dawn, and looks like immediately playing the red rock, not even giving him a chance. Get that Luffy out of here. And passing it right back. And I do think like Luffy is a necessary card in this matchup for Whitebeard, just to be able to get that immediate pressure, because we do have a good amount of removal for the larger bodies. And the ace under the same kind of bucket, 7k there, going down to 2 cards in life. And do we have a trigger out of our life? It could be a Sanji if they're thinking about, you know, putting a card. All right, yeah, it's Sanji. It is Sanji from the new set. They're playing quite fast. I'm going to try to keep up with them, and or hopefully it slows down eventually. But we have not a lot of cards in hand. We're going to be at 8 Dawn right now. So if you have Katakuri to put that ace back into their hand and into their life, it's very strong. We'll see if that's the case. Oh, it looks like it's just 7 into ace. All right. Looks like ace is the place. And this tempo seems... Okay, red rocket away. Okay, that's 2 red rocks. And we have 9 Dawn now for Warren. We have 6 into leader. We have like 2 or 3 cards in hand, not a lot. We're going to block with our Don Quixote del Flamingo. Like, look at the difference in hand size. All right, we're playing an Ezo, so go down to 8 Dawn, looking at top 5. And it looks like, for the record, for our prediction, it's about 2-1 for Queen to win this one. And immediately out the gate, Newgate's putting down a lot of pressure. We do have the answers for it from Queen, but a lot of pressure. And it looks like maybe Holden doesn't have the cards. Also, let me correct the name. I don't think I got all the way. Holden Miller. My apologies. Holden Miller. There we go. All right. What are we doing with all that Dawn? And again, like, the pressure you're afforded with finding your rush cards, I'd say, like, in comparison, Newgate doesn't play as many rush cards. We usually play about 2 or 3 copies of Rush Luffy and then 2 to 3 copies of Ace. Oh, that looks like we're playing Thatch. Oh man, if we have 9-drop Mihawk, that's so strong right here. That's so strong. This Thatch is considerably worse in this matchup. In a lot of matchups, it's very good, but in this matchup, it's not super there. All right, going down to 1 life. All right, an 8-drop Katakuri or a 9-drop Mihawk would probably be your best plays right here. 9-drop Yamato's okay, but not fantastic. Oh, we do have the Mihawk. Woo! Mihawk on curve. Feels so good. Especially when they spent 6 Dawn to play a card that's now at the bottom of their deck. Going down to 6 life, or 6k with that swing with Queen. Going up to 3 life. This is looking pretty good for Queen right now. Yeah, and now this is where it's going to start looking good for Queen, where we'll be able to pressure leader every turn and hopefully get a removal of one of their threats from either another Mihawk, from potentially a Katakuri. 3 cards in life feels really good at this point, too. And we'll have to see what this looks like. But yeah, looking very good for Holden right now. All right, a simple 6 at lead. All right, going down to 2 in life. And this is like the one big thing about Queen is that kind of the trade-off is that you never really have a lot of cards in your hand. You can make like a really good board. Ooh, another Rush Luffy. All right, and a 2K beige. Yeah, 2K beige to get out of it. 5 Dawn left to work with Newgate. We could Makino here on the Ezo to pump it up. I don't think that's super worth it, but it's a play. Oh, for 3. Oh, sorry, for 4, we're playing 2 Fossa blockers. All right, so if we happen to have, again, if we have another one of our large bodies, oh, Yamato. So Yamato is going to be able to remove the Fossa. We're going to attack 6 into, I suppose, leader, because it doesn't matter either way. And then we have a 9K attack coming in from the Mihawk. That Luffy's going to survive another day, which is very strong. And in no way is Queen going to win this turn. But you will be able to start pressuring down a lot of value here. And I mean, this could be, I mean, guard point doesn't straight get out of this, right? And if you're worried about your blocker getting hit again next turn, you could block with it now. But I feel like if you left the 1 Dawn open, you kind of have to pay the cost to, you want to be able to use the event if you have it. All right, thinking here. Oh, we spend 2 2Ks, an Otama and a Jozu to get out of it. All right, sending it back to Warren. 3 life to 0. We have 2 immediately viable attackers. 2 cards in hand for Queen, but again, that's like both these leaders are really deceptive. Like Queen looks like they they have 3 health, but you can shred through that probably pretty easy. Meanwhile, Newgate has 0 cards left in health, but they have so much defense possibilities. All right, we're going 6 into leader. And we're thinking here. All right. We probably, I mean, you either have a 2K or 2 1Ks in hand. And it's 2 1Ks getting a pound and a Don Quixote do Flamingo out. That Don Quixote do Flamingo would be really tempting to play out next turn because you'd be able to see what card we put on the top of your life. But I think the 6K is probably the smallest attack you have to worry about this turn too. And both those are 9Ks. So if you want, you could kind of pressure down the Mihawk for free. If we play an ace, that only leaves you 3 Dawn left on the defense side. And no cards in hand. But Warren is deeply thinking. What do we do here? What's the choice? Let's see. Okay. All right. We've broken out of it. We're thinking again, but we're in a more comfortable position. Asking for cards in trash. Let's see. So 3 2Ks, 2 red rocks, 3 blockers that can hit out of life, and then 3 additional blockers. And that's a small Whitebeard hand of only 6. Yeah, very tough. And luckily, I mean, we have time to think, right? We got a whole 28 minutes left. I guess the whole 27 and change. But we got to make some moves, right? We've been staring at it, and we'll have to see. And I get why. I get why this is such a decision. It's a very tricky spot to be in, right? It is very, very tricky to be in this spot. Let's see. Okay, my apologies for having nothing to say. I'm thinking like what could be the decision? What could be here? I'm like, come on. It's been about 2 minutes, which is fair, and I get it. This is where things are really kind of spiraling out of control for you as Newgate, where things are finally kind of slipping away, and it's looking very good for the queen player, but it's not out yet. You still have options. You still have plays, but you have to figure out what you want because you can get rid of that Newgate or the Mihawk right now if you so desire. It costs 3 on the Luffy because you can use the Luffy effect to make it so the Sanji can't block. 9 can 9. There's no cards in hand for our queen players, which is why they're kind of twiddling their thumbs. Got nothing to do but just stare at their opponent. All right. Asking something, talking about something. What it is they know. And I think they're thinking. There's something. They're passionate. There is a discussion. There is an exchange of words happening. All right, we play the 7 drop. On the Mihawk and the Sanji. We have 3 Dawn open. 6K in. Snap taking it. 1 in hand. Passing. All right. If you have another Mihawk, I think it wins you the game. I think it straight wins you the game. All right, 10K with Yam. All right, Crossfire, and I believe that's a 2K. Is that it? Yeah, sorry, that's a 1K. It's a speed gel. Gets out of it. All right, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5, 10. 10 on 6. All right, block out of it. And then do we put 4 on Sanji? No, we just play another Sanji. We chill. All right. You need another blocker. And even then, I think Queen's in a good spot. We'll have to see. All right. As long as Warren's turn takes less than 23 minutes, I think Holden looks good. 10 Dawn to work with. So what? What would be best play? With 2 blockers out, I think 2 blockers just ends it without being able to get removal for it. So this looks like 8 on leader. Oh, yeah, that's a wrap. 3 blockers now. Yeah, block there, easy. 4 cards left in hand. You could use Luffy to get rid of the Yamato if that's your prerogative, because they can't block it, and then they won't be able to get the free heal next turn. So that is a chance. I think that's viable for you. But then, yeah, they're thinking. With only 3 cards in hand, though. Do we have 2 more blockers? That'd be wild. All right. Again, 4 cards. What are best 4 cards? You could maybe win with what? If they don't block, they attack, and you like Makino. You don't even have enough to Makino and then double Luffy unblockable, right? Yeah, with 8 down, you don't have enough for that. All right. This is going into life. This is 9k, right? This is life or Yam? Oh, it has whoa, it's unblockable. Yeah, okay. They're swinging to Yamato. So this is 9 to 9. Okay, they're swinging to life. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think you had to remove the Yamato, to be honest. Even then, though, it's not great for you. All right, another Rush Luffy. Okay. Okay. We have 2 Dawn left. We can't even pressure the Yamato anymore. Holden's got 1 card in hand. It's not even in hand. It's just face down on board, really. Just spinning it around. All right. And 8 on lead. Sure, why not? And then I think that's it. Yeah. Double Makino Rad Beam. If life was a little bit worse for Holden, there might be a window for you to take the game. But that is it. Holden takes it. All right. Here we are. We have Holden Miller on Queen versus Jonathan Chow on Newgate. It's going to be a rematch, at least leader-wise, for the last round. Queen was able to take it. I do think they did have to find a certain curve, and they were able to find it, so that was very important. But we're going to see what this looks like here. Again, on the other table, on table 2, we have Crocodile versus Zoro. And which means that if Queen is able to dodge Zoro and win this matchup, I think they can have a pretty good matchup into Croc as well. But we'll have to see what that looks like for you guys. So I'm going to get the timer set up. It's going to be starting in a minute 20. 41:20, and that is what we're looking at. So let me start also putting the poll in the chat. Let you guys, Queen versus Newgate, same thing, perfect. If you guys want to put some channel points on the line, you are able to right now. Also, I do want to shout out Jonathan Chow, super nervous, but able to like letting us stream his match. I really do appreciate that. So I know that this is pretty stressful, especially, we've been playing for 7 rounds already. We're into round 8. We're tired. We're exhausted. We want to be done playing this game. We just want to be undefeated and be end with it. So I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys appreciate Jonathan, who for getting here in the first place too. Going 7-0 in any tournament is such an accomplishment. And let's see who is able to continue it and get undefeated into our 9th and final round. This is it. This is it. So, We'll see what this looks like. It's looking like similar to the previous round, a 2-to-1 ratio on queen for channel points. Let's see if it's the same result or not. This round starts in 8 seconds, and we're going to be going on into it. Again, one more time, maybe the last time. Let's talk about this queen leader. So it's very interesting. Like I'd say like these two leaders are kind of the opposite of themselves, where queen is a leader that's able to heal itself. It starts at a low health total, but is able to heal up. Meanwhile, Newgate, on the other hand, has a high life total of 6. You see that on the board, and we're able to we go down in our life, right? So, early game, like there's a lot of pressure from Newgate, but if they're able to stabilize as queen, you get a lot of advantage for it. So we played Ezo turn 1. We found nothing, which is good news for Holden there. And then we're back to Jonathan. And we're just putting 3. We're having a 5K swing with the Ezo, get a 1K out, and then a 6K swing and a 2K out. All right, we got 4 Don. We're going to play Sanji and pass right back. All right, playing a little quick. I mean, you don't usually have a lot of plays for queen on these early turns, and honestly, Newgate doesn't have much either, but we'll have to see. All right, we're playing a Nami, so we play both searches in this deck, which is a little bit peculiar for this current format, usually one or the other. We attack 6K with Newgate, going down to 2 cards left in life. And then we play the Speed Jill for 4. That's the alt art from the dash packs from the set. We have a 7K on the lead. Might mean we're playing another Sanji after this. Let's see, we've already closed the bid for this one. So it was 43,000 points for queen versus 26 for Newgate. And we'll have to see how this is. So 2 life to 3, and we were able to use the 3,000 worlds to bottom deck there. And we're back. We're back to Jonathan. All right, going down to 2 in life. All right, and then we're going to play 7. Oh, that's Manga Ace. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The flex. Let me see if I can find the manga art for y'all. There it is. There it is. All right, so it's 7. And we're using the Gum Gum Rain. We get to do a 3K and by discarding an extra card in hand. We're getting rid of the Yamato. All right. And then... Yep. All right. Going down to 1 life as Newgate. So we have 8 Dawn here. If we have 8 cost Katakuri, that's pretty strong for this board. Being able to bottom deck the ace is good, or bottom life the ace, but we don't have it. We're just swinging a 7K probably into ace, trying to get a card out of hand. And then do we have the red rock? We do have the red rock. There it is. Yeah, bottom of deck. There it is. So passing from there, 2 life available, 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 cards in hand for Holden, and passing it back to Jonathan. Looking pretty similar to how our previous match of Newgate versus Queen looked. The Manga Ace safe at the bottom of the deck. If you have a 2K, 1K, I'd be really inclined to get out of this attack right now. But we are choosing to not to. All right, no card out of hand. And like right now, we're in a weird spot where we have too many cards in hand. And it's, oh, another one. Another one. Here, they did one of these. Another one. All right, so 3 in hand, 1 left in life. And do we have... Okay, we do have the Mihawk to additionally... Okay. And then attacking 6 and getting the heal. Again, this is looking pretty good for Holden. This is looking very similar to this first game that we saw. At least our previous game in round 7. All right, Nami again, looking at top 4. Or sorry, top 5. Finding the full art of this deck. We have the wanted poster Luffy. We have 9 Dawn to work with. They might be pre-release stamped. I'd have to enhance. I'll have to check the VODs if that's regular blocker chopper, or if that's the pre-release stamp. All right, 7 into life. We're going to block with Sanji while we still can. Wanted poster Luffy, 7k into life, no trigger. All right, again, if we have another Mihawk, we're in a good spot. If we have Katakuri, okay, that's fine. 3,000 worlds. Luffy joining the ace at the bottom of the deck. We're going to play a Don Quixote do Flamingo. This is really impactful now. So we get to look at the top 5 cards of our deck, and now we'll be able to attack with our queen and decide what card we're putting into our life. That is very good. All right, they're content with the cards there. Going to attack with their leader in just a second, I believe. All right. There's a card into life. Could be anything. And intuitively put a Dawn underneath Don Quixote de Flamingo so it doesn't get hit by Red Hawk either. And then a 10k with the Mihawk. All right, and Chopper's taking one for the team, getting the block there, and going back to Newgate. Looks like 3 in hand, 2 in life, and we know the card. Looking at top 5 for Izo. All right, finding a 5-drop Marco, which won't be able to answer this Don Quixote do Flamingo by itself. And again, we know this card. All right, 5 at life. And okay, Holden now gets to decide if he wants to trigger the card they put into their life or hold on to it till later. All right, and just getting a blocker. Oh, we have Marco in hand though, right? So this could force the Marco to come down. But then are you worried about losing on the next turn? This is why like the 6k from Newgate might have been the better attack, because you wouldn't have to invest all that Dawn on the Nami. Because you can no longer play Marco and play like a blocker, right? All right, another 5k attack. All right, get the block there, since you know it's not long for this world. 6k with leader. We could block or get out of it. We do have quite a thick hand for Newgate. And we're thinking about it. Oh, going down to 0. All right, Sanji, which I don't think we knew was there. Oh, and there's a Yamato. And then a 2-drop blocker. Okay. I don't think either player is out of the woods. I think this could be either player's game. If we have a Yamato in hand, which I think we've discarded 2 at this point, it makes a difference. But also, Holden still knows the configuration of the top of their deck. So this is going 6 into... I'd be tempted into Nami, but it looks like it's just into leader getting the 1k out. 9 into lead. Yeah, I think okay, and there's third Yamato. And by doing the sequencing like that, it means that queen heals up to 1, and then you get to use the additional heal. So that's very strong. It means that they have to try to push another 3 damage. And that might be asking a little bit too much for Nugget right now. All right, and what do we got? We got 10 Dawn and 2 1-drops on the board. Looks like we have about 2 or 3 cards in hand for Holden. Might just be 2. We have 2 blockers, 2 cards in life, and this is looking far and away, yeah, in the favor of our Newgate player. That was a Soga King, not a manga, but it was a Soga King. All right, get the block there. And passing back. If we have fourth and final Yamato, I think we win this on the spot. I can't imagine losing from there. We might even go for board. Like if they have no board, they can't win, right? All right, we got 10 with Newgate, or into Newgate. A 3 and a 2. We have 10 with Newgate. To Newgate. 4 and a 1. And looks like 3 cards left in hand. And everything there, healing up. And that's it. Holden is 1 round away from being our regional champion with Queen. All right, we are here in our finals. It all comes down to this. We have Holden Miller on the Queen leader versus Frederick Worth on the starter deck Croc leader. And they're getting set up right now. All right. The dice roll, I'd be curious to see what it gets to. I think both of them have a pretty strong 9-drop play with the Mihawk available to both. I think that the Queen player does like to get to 8 as well. And I wonder, depending on who wins the dice roll, what each player wants. I think both can be kind of flexible, and it's not necessarily as polarizing as some other matchups. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Queen player wants to go first or second, and do you think the Croc player wants to go first or second? I could see Croc wanting to go first because they do probably have a better odd curve. If we were playing like 1-drop into 3-drop Sento, into being able to play off the Sento. But then whoever gets the Mihawk first also gets a lot of strength too, right? Let's see. Chat is saying a bunch of things. We'll just see how it turns out. We'll see how they go into there. They're getting set up, though. I'm ready. You guys are ready. Round number 9 of 9. Finals for today. Here it is. Timer starting. And these guys are able to start their game. All right, looking at their hands. Looks like Holden is okay, and they're holding the 5 cards they drew. Going to 4 life. Meanwhile, Frederick's thinking about it pretty hard, and they are also okay with it. Let's go. I think this match can be quite the grind, but we'll see what the case is. And looks like our Queen player is going first versus our Crocodile player going second. Not uncommon for both players to have nothing to really do. Attacking 5k with the queen into the crocodile. And going down to 4 life. Pretty easy there. And then we're playing a Don Quixote do Flamingo blocker to look at the top 5 of our deck. A very strong card for Queen in the fact that 1, it's a blocker, 2, being able to look at your next draw, especially since we don't get a lot of cycle in this. And also, since we heal cards off the top of our deck, if we sequence it correctly, we can know what Don Quixote do Flamingo put on the top of our deck, and then we get to put that card directly into our life with our leader effect if we have an 8-drop or higher on the board. All right. And this is obviously a big decision. This sets up your next couple turns into what cards you think are important, and maybe even you know getting to decide what card you heal. And after that, we're going to pass it right back to Crocodile. All right, 5k with Croc. We're going to 1k with a Boa Hancock blocker out of hand, and then we're playing the Pacifista for 4. All right, we're doing a quick 6k into leader, which means we're probably playing a Sanji blocker from hand. We're leaving that 4 up, or using a 3,000 Worlds. And 3,000 Worlds to remove the Pacifista. It's kind of bad that that gets put back in the life because that is another target for Sentomaru to get out. But you of the 2, you'd probably want that one to get KO'd, but it's a weird one. Regardless, we're swinging 5 attack with the Crocodile, and the Queen takes it, going down to 3 life, so 3 life apiece. Playing the Sentomaru and then being able to be at 6 Dawn means you get to use the effect and take that Pacifista right back from the bottom of the deck. And again, this is where the value comes down for this matchup, the fact that Sentomaru essentially lets you, in a roundabout way, draw cards and play bodies for cheap. You would always, like, playing a 4/6 body for 3 Dawn is already worth it, but being able to play it out of your deck instead of your hand is just the double value for it there. So we're passing it back. We're at 7 Dawn. We're putting 1 card to the bottom of the deck after cutting it. And we're going to see if we have any disruption. With 7 Dawn, a Soga King would be kind of big. Being able to return the Sentomaru to hand. We'll have to see what the decision is. We 3,000 Swords is a good effect too, but we're going to attack 5 into leader, using a Missile Sunday to get out of it. And then we are playing the Soga King. All right, so this will let you draw 2, discard 2, and add a 6 or less back to the owner's hand. It can be your own Don Quixote do Flamingo, but I think it's going to probably be Sentomaru. Yeah, it's going to be Sentomaru. Not too surprising there. And the biggest thing is that Queen just needs to get into the late game, and it can get a lot of value. But on the other hand, both decks tend to play like these large bodies, like the 10-drop Kaido, which I'm pretty sure the Crocodile plays. I don't think we've seen it hit the board today in general, but very strong. All right, so we are at 9 Dawn next turn, but we're at 8 Dawn right now for Frederick with Stardeck Croc. And we're attacking 6k into leader, 2k out with the Sasaki, 5k with leader. Looks like we have about 3 or 4 cards in hand and 3 in life. We're going to block with the Dofi, expecting perhaps a Mihawk to come down. And then from there, we're going to use Sentomaru's effect again, which is going to play another Pacifista out of the deck. Again, this is our finals for today. Winner takes all. We have Sentomaru establishing 2 Pacifistas. We have 9 Dawn, which does have a lot of removal potential for Crocodile when either the 9-drop Yamato or the 9-drop Mihawk. All right, and send to the bottom after the cut. And what is our play? What is our play? So 5, it looks like, into leader. All right, getting a Missile Sunday at a hand. 6 into probably Pacifista. Wherever it was, Dragon Twister easily gets out of it. And then do we have a 9 cost in hand? Even an 8-cost Katakuri would be moderately large here, being able to put Sentomaru to the bottom of life. But it looks like it's the Mihawk right on time. So 9-cost Mihawk, sending Sentomaru to the bottom. I will say Sentomaru kind of already did its job. We did get 3 Pacifistas, I believe, out of deck. Maybe 2. Was it 2 or 3? I think it was 3. I think it was 3. So being able to get that out of the deck and onto the board. Actually, it's only 2. It's only 2. I'm just losing my mind. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. We got this though. We got Mihawk out. We're passing over. We're starting with these 5K, 6K swing with the second one, 2K out. Another 7K swing going down to 1 life, playing the Boa blocker from life, and then 9-drop Mihawk to remove the Soga King. All right, here we go. We have a couple too many cards in hand for Queen to start getting our heal effect off, I believe. But we could start spamming the board there. We're going to attack 10K, assumedly into one of the Pacifistas. That will get the removal there. We have 1 card in life. If we have a... Yeah, if we have a Yamato, we can get the clear... Yeah, we do. We do. All right, so Yamato able to get the removal there since they're at 4 life, get up to 2 life, remove there, and then 5 into leader. And these Yamatos have been very kind. Very, very kind to Holden today. All right. And do we have... Oh, they're playing a little interesting. I wonder if Kaido's in the future. There's a 9 and a... Yeah, okay. If one of those was an 8-drop Katakuri, perhaps we play a Kaido, but we're going to use a Don Quixote Doflamingo of our own. Look at the top 5. We get to rearrange from there. But these 2 9-drops are a lot... Oh, bottom decking all 5. No good cards in that 5. Are we playing a second one? Let's see. Oh, a Missile Sunday, okay. And then probably a Kuma. Yeah, all right. So we got 3 blockers. Pretty strong there, which means that our Mihawk will have a good chance of surviving. Only 3 in hand. Meanwhile, on the other side of the virtual table, we've got 2 cards in life for Queen, and it looks like about 4 cards in hand. All right, 10 hold on to work with. Oh, okay, interesting. So we're just going a simple 5. Oh, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. If they had another 9-drop, I think they'd totally play it. But it doesn't seem like to me like they do. Maybe they play 10-drop Kaido, and maybe that could be the play this turn. Yeah, and there's no removal events in trash. All right, 5 into life. Taking it. Going down to 1 life, a little dangerous. 9K in. Using Missile Sunday to get the Dragon Twister. Unfortunately, no red rocks available. And then the double removal of Red Rock and 3000 Worlds. Incredible. So that does not proc the on-KO effect of the Kuma. And this is looking very good for Holden all of a sudden. 2 cards in life, 2 in hand. Was not able to heal this turn, but being able to remove 3 characters off the board feels real good. Looking very good for Holden, but it's not over yet. Both these players have gotten here for a reason. They know their decks. They know their plays. And let's see what Frederick decides to answer with. We've got 10 hold on to work with. Unfortunately, both of these 9 costs are very difficult to answer with outside of Red Rock, and it does not seem like we found a single Red Rock yet with Frederick. All right, definitely in that think tank. All right, considering for 5 something. All right, we are attacking 6. It looks like we got 5 or 6 cards in hand for Frederick. No trigger in life. What could the decision here be? Red Rock and Missile Sunday would be pretty strong. Being able to get the removal of Yamato and then play a Missile Sunday to get the Red Rock back for the Mihawk afterwards. Let's see. Oh, we're attacking here. Okay. 7k with our blocker here. Going down to 0 life. There's no way. Usopp, no way. Okay. He paid 4. I'm like, oh my goodness. No, we just got a blocker here. All right, Holden's thinking. They've got about 5 cards in hand. They'll need to be able to play something, and then they get to attack again for healing. Are attacking 9 with Yamato. All right, Dragon Twister and a Pacifista to get out. It's 10 to 9. 4 in hand, 1 blocker open. All right, wherever that went, we blocked. All right, a 3-drop Don Quixote do Flamingo blocker. All right. We get to know what we get to put in our life now. All right, yeah, that is a large swing, and I'm guessing this is at the 3-drop Don Quixote do Flamingo blocker, because if they, yeah. There's no way for Crocodile to win at this point now, at least on the next turn. All right, and I think that's it. I think it's going to be pretty close to it. All right, we forward there. All right, Kaya for 2. All right, what's our play? We can't bounce either back to hand. All right, get that attack out. Another 3-drop Don Quixote do Flamingo blocker. And passing back. All right, and putting Kaya back into our hand. 3 in hand, 1 in life. Red Rock that away. All right, that should be it. 9 into life. 14, and we have our winner. We have Holden Miller on Queen, going the distance, 9-0, and our champion for the day. There we go. Holden's our winner. We've had a Boa Hancock blocker in our life, and that is it. Queen is our winner for the day. Well then. Congratulations to Holden. Going the distance. If someone told me this morning, hey, Queen's going to win this entire tournament, I would say, really? I would bet against it. I would not be believing it. But here we are. After 9 rounds, almost 8 hours of gameplay. There it is. There you guys go.